Democrats lost several Senate seats and House seats in the midterm elections, in large part because the president was unpopular. He had a job approval rating around 40%. He was blamed for some of the policy problems that exist in the US, and Democrats took on that blame as a result. In addition, there were a lot of vulnerable Democrats who were holding Senate seats in very conservative states. And so voters came to the polls, many times conservative voters, came to the polls and voted a lot of those Democrats out. It ended up being a rough day for Democrats. What the midterm elections have done is created a greater environment in which gridlock will exist in the United States. More Republicans in Congress make it harder for the president to work with Congress. And so the president will have to rely on his own executive powers in many areas of policy. In the area of foreign policy, presidential power is many times its strongest. And so what the president should do is turn attention toward issues like foreign affairs, like trade, and try his best to push through the policies and the ideas that he thinks are important in any way that he can. And so whether it requires working with Republicans who perhaps he sees eye to eye with on a variety of areas of foreign policy, or who he can have productive discussions with about the direction of foreign policy, that's all going to be important for the president. And so in that sense, the Democrats' losses in 2014 might actually present opportunities for the president in 2015 and in 2016. In 2016, we'll have an open seat competitive presidential race. What the 2014 elections have set up, however, is a requirement really for Republicans in Congress to govern. There are going to be expectations from Americans that they work with the president, that they try to fix some of the policy problems that the US has. And if they fail to do so, they're going to pay in 2016, both in terms of Senate elections and in terms of the presidential election. And so that creates real opportunities for Democrats and for President Obama. If Republicans need to work with the president in order to be successful, it might break some of the gridlock in Washington. If Republicans refuse to work with the president, it creates real political opportunities for Democrats and for a president who wants to see a Democrat succeed him in the White House. So the next 2 years will be quite telling, not just about the direction of policy in the United States and abroad, but also in terms of the strategies and the successes of both political parties in the US. Obviously, Hillary Clinton is a strong frontrunner, both for the Democratic nomination and for a White House win in 2016. Republicans have a much more wide open field with many contenders interested in running for president. There are some that would be bigger challenges for the Republicans, but there are a few, including Ohio Senator Rob Portman and Wisconsin Congressman Paul Ryan, who seem to have the discipline and the ideas that would make them competitive presidential candidates in 2016 for the Republicans.